let's talk a little about love. Um, Years ago, when I was young, I grew up watching the movies, reading books, historical and romance, and you name it, pick it. And whenever you hear that, you have the fairy tale story, they fall in love. And so we're taught from very early on that love is an emotion. And so when we don't feel that emotion anymore, then we think, oh, we don't love each other anymore, or I don't love that person because I don't feel the emotion. And having been married for many years and having been a mother, I can tell you, you do not always feel that emotion about your children, your parents, the person you've committed yourself to. And so, what then? Do you sometimes love people? Do you sometimes not love people? Is love really that transitory? And then when I became a Christian, I really encountered love as a verb, as an action. And it totally changed the way I saw it. Before then, love was a noun, it was an emotion, it was that feeling you felt. But we use it as a verb all the time. I love you. What does that mean? I mean, when we say it, what we're saying is, I feel this emotion of love for you. And that's true. But when you work, this is what I want to say. This is the point. This is really where I'm going with this. When you do something that's in another person's best interest and not your own, you are loving that person. So as parents, we do it all the time. Even when we don't feel the emotion, when we're angry at our kids or when we don't like them very much because they are not being good and being disrespectful or going through a phase or whatever the case may be. When we still do those things, we feed them, we bathe them, we take care of them, we provide for them, we teach them, we discipline them, then those things, we are loving them. We are taking the action of loving them even though we don't feel the emotion. And so here's the problem with relationships right now. And I don't mean parent child. I don't mean brother sister, because those change too, right? Those same things. Sometimes we feel the emotion, sometimes we don't. But what I'm talking here is couples. When that emotion comes and goes, when people don't get married, like the whole idea of not getting married is you got a way out. When things go south, you can leave. You're not stuck. That's the mentality. But here's the thing with marriage. Marriage is a contract. It's a promise. It is signing, literally signing on the dotted line that even when you don't feel it, just like with any other relationship in your life, you make a promise that you're going to love that person anyway. And that love, it's not like you can't force the feeling, right? Like you can't generate a feeling when it's not there. But you can do things that are in the other person's best interest, even when you don't feel it. You can do that. And so, love as a choice, love as an action, that's really what is meant in a marriage contract. That's really how you have a successful long-term relationship with anyone. Is that even your friends, when you don't like what they're doing, if you still choose to do what's in their best interest, then you're loving them even though you don't feel the emotion. And we need to really bring focus on love as a verb, not love as a noun. Our culture's got it all wrong. We have it all backwards. And this is why parents and friends can make hard decisions and do the hard things and say the hard things when they're doing it for the right reasons, when they're doing it for the other person's well-being. Discipline. If you're not a parent yet, let me give you a hint. When you have to discipline a child, you're punished. Both of you get punished. Like, if you tell them, oh, well, we can't go to the zoo this weekend because blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? As a parent, you were probably looking forward to going to the zoo too. Now you got to sit around a house with a kid who's unhappy all the weekend because they're punished, and now you're both punished. So I'm going to tell you straight up, punishment is a two-way street. It doesn't make parents feel powerful. No parent really enjoys punishing their kid. At least no healthy, good parent enjoys punishing their kid. We would rather not have to do it. We do it because it's actually for the well-being of the child, because a child who learns how to behave properly and treat people well in society is going to have a much better, happier, successful life than a child that does not. And we see that work itself out. And it's the same thing with friendships and relationships. If you can't say the hard things because it's in the best interest of your friend, are you really a friend? If telling them that what they're doing is ultimately going to hurt them, if you can't say that, are you really friends? Do you really have something, long-standing and valuable, or are you just acquaintances? You just good there for the good times? Because someone who's there for the good times isn't really there. They're not. So, I just wanted to point out that love is what you do more so than what you feel, because the feelings come and go. Love as a commitment stands.